how to stay consistent with your health goals, even in social situations. Welcome back to the Hormone Shift Show. I am your host, Leslie Duffy. And today, what I'm sharing is why are we defaulting to the same old order in social situations, how to order when you go to a restaurant, or what to do when you go to a friend's house. And most importantly, you're going to learn how to hold your ground for next time without being that girl. In the show notes, I have a guide for you to accompany this episode. It's called the Perimenopause Social Survival Guide: 5 Ways to Support Your Hormones at the Party, Brunch, or Girls' Night Without Being the Boring One. The boring one. Let's get started. So many of us, we don't want to be judged or questioned in the moment. Many people, when they see you ordering differently, they take it personally. And it can be very awkward. You'll get questions like, why aren't you ordering a drink? Or why aren't you ordering the French fries? Rather than going into a full-blown explanation that maybe you've hired a health coach, or maybe you're trying something new, or maybe you're having some difficulties, because sometimes you just don't want to talk about yourself and your health. Many women worry about being too much, about being too high maintenance, or even some people judge you and think of it as attention-seeking behavior. Now, this comes from the fact that we have been trained to comfort and prioritize the comfort of everybody else. One client told me that she didn't want to be that girl. She wanted to eat the bar food when she went to the bar with her husband. She didn't want her husband to have to change what he was doing. And for that client in particular, we did a lot of work showing up and taking up space and having confidence to take up space. But here's what I want you to remember. Your goals are real. Your needs are valid. And your body may be in a season where you have to be more strategic in order to bounce back or hit your health goals, because what you were doing before isn't working anymore. Now, let's talk about why it feels hard even when you know what to do, because it's not a knowledge problem. It's how your brain is wired. We're going to talk about the motivational triad. Now, your brain is programmed for survival. Ancient mechanisms are at play. We are programmed to seek pleasure, to avoid pain, and to conserve energy. And in social situations, the breadbasket equals comfort. That's the pleasure. If you are asking for a substitute, that is awkward and painful. Thinking about what to order when you are thinking, how is this going to support my health goals, is going to cause you to expend a lot of effort, mental effort, especially if you don't have a plan in place. That you're just going to burn through a lot of mental energy. And maybe you've noticed that I'm just going to order that and start over on Monday, that can feel like a really big relief. Now, let me just talk to you quickly about pain, the pain point of being separated or doing things differently from the group. Think about that as more of a survival mechanism. When we are separated from the herd, it's very painful for humans because that equaled death. So especially for women. And when we talk about the survival of the species, women were very dependent on the herd for protection. Now, your brain is doing its job, and for your brain, it is safer to go with the flow. But what might feel safe socially could be bad physically. One of my clients, in fact, worked very hard. We worked together to overcome some immune issues, and she really rebuilt her health. And while we were working together, we discovered that she was gluten intolerant. And when she went to the work party, she didn't want to make it a thing. She didn't want to change her order. She didn't want to have people make exceptions for her. So she ended up eating the pizza, and it did set her back for several weeks. She ended up with digestive distress, brain fog, and a lot of fatigue. But that wasn't all. She ended up seeing this pattern in herself, even with girls' weekends, or even when she was out with her mom and her sister. Just also want to explain that that is not a weakness, and I want to offer that there is no right and wrong. I'm going to teach you a little bit of a shift in beliefs in a minute, but this is, I think, is such an important part of this episode, that there is no right and wrong with food, but we do get caught up in right and wrong. And when we fall off of it, does create this type of shame spiral. But a better way to look at it is, what does it do to my body? I just mentioned that your body might be in a season where you have to be a little bit more strategic, and then make decisions based on your intentions and not from a reactive survival brain. Now, here's how to do that. We want to start thinking differently. We want to break that binary that food is not good or bad, all right? And you're not wrong and you're not weak. It's about what the food does to your body, question that, and you might be in this season where you need a little bit more structure, and that's not wrong. So that's where I came up with my own worth it filter. And it's a moment for you to pause and ask, is it worth it for me? What am I trading this for? This is literally a choice. And if you're okay with that choice, then go ahead and do it, because we are designed to make choices strategically, right? And for your brain to make a choice is incredibly powerful. So want you to remember that. Am I okay with the trade-off today? Now, some foods could cost you brain fog. It could cost you poor sleep. Alcohol will cost you poor sleep. Some other foods could cause a flare-up depending on what your body is like. And it could slow your progress on your health goals if you're in a weight loss phase. And it doesn't mean that's right or wrong. It's like, I've decided that it is worth it for me. I am going to do this, and I'm up for the consequences of it. That is very empowering. It also means that you're using a different part of your brain. You're aware and you're not reacting. All right, here's what we're going to do. This is the strategy. We're going to get really practical. I'm going to give you some scripts for your confidence. So when the waiter comes along, you can begin by saying, "May I have that without the bun?" You can also say, "Is it possible to swap the rice for extra vegetables?" Okay. Or you might want to say, "May I have the grilled version of the fish instead of the fried version?" If my friend says, "Why are you not ordering a cocktail?" You might want to say, "I just feel better when I skip the cocktail, and I'm going to sleep better tonight." Or you might say, "I'm struggling with some sleep issues and I'm doing an experiment. I want to see if this helps." If your husband orders a cocktail, okay, here's your if then plan. If your husband orders a cocktail, you're going to order a mocktail, okay? So we want to also anchor your meals. Here's another strategy. Anchor your meals. You know what to do because you listened to episode 14. But when you're at the restaurant, check the menu ahead of time, decide your non-negotiables, and don't show up starving, okay? Focus on the ambiance, the company, the conversation, because sometimes when we're over-focused on the food, we tend to feel a little bit deprived. So instead, just train your brain to start looking at the other things that are really wonderful by going out. The gathering itself is an experience. All right, what to do at a friend's house? I recommend eating before you go. Even just a boiled egg and some steamed broccoli can really help to stabilize your blood sugar, especially in all of that excitement of getting ready to go to a party. You can also bring what you wish that they were serving. You can bring a protein-rich appetizers, a shrimp cocktail, or even a veggie tray, or even make your own fun mocktail and bring it. You can make your decisions ahead of time and decide how you want to follow through. So I want you to understand that you do not have to justify your food choices to anybody. You don't have to eat like everybody else in order to belong. We are now at a phase where we don't need to be with the herd anymore. We're good, okay? You're allowed to take care of yourself in public. And following through is not being extra, where you're paying attention. You are literally building a skill, and it gets easier and easier the more you practice. The next time that you go to a restaurant or you're with friends, let's try this. Order what works for your body first, okay? You're going to watch the discomfort come in and let it happen, and then notice how powerful it is when you follow through. That's the win. That's the total win. Now, go into the show notes, grab your perimenopause social survival guide, practice, practice, practice all week long. All right, there you have it, my friend. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you next time.